Hey guys, welcome to Pokédex, a channel where I build decks for the Pokemon trading card game. I'm going to play Expanded today, and today's deck, while maybe not the most competitive ever yet, I think it has a lot of competitive potential just because we're playing such strong cards that synergize so well together, and when this deck is good, it's actually pretty bonkers. It's a fairly obvious idea, if I have to be honest. I had this idea while I was streaming the last time, and some people in the comment section said it's kind of similar to some deck someone was playing. I don't really remember what they told me exactly. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments for this video. But my basic idea is just to bring out Thundurus, use Battle Compressor to discard some energy, and use Thundurus as an energy accelerator. So not only does this guy eat for a lot of damage for a single energy, because it's a plasma Pokemon, and we are playing, sorry, not this guy, but this Deoxys EX, which increases the damage that we do. We are also charging our Genesect EX to take huge knockouts in the later stages of the game. So that's a pretty straightforward deck, I think. I mean, it's really aggro, a lot of card draw. Instead of basically playing Verizons in here, we just go with Thundurus, which can also accelerate energy if we have them on the discard pile. And because we have so much card draw, we can just play the Battle Compressors, and we will find them most likely in the first turns of the game. So, as far as the deck goes, we are playing 2 Genesect and 3 Thundurus EX as the attackers. I'd love to play more, but the deck is kind of stuffed. The only problem with only playing 5 is that we usually don't start with them, so we have to retreat out of the Deoxys most likely, or something like that, so sometimes that happens. But yeah, Thundurus is really the best starter possible, and Genesect is here just for the cleanup, just to take out the last Pokemon of our opponent. Also, Thundurus attacks really nicely into an Yveltal, which, as you guys already know, is something that's really huge in Expanded. But unlike Manectric, which needs 2 energy, we only need a single one on Thundurus EX, so I think that's an upgrade. It also knocks out Shaymins left and right, so talking about Shaymins, we have 3 in here, and also 1 Hoopa EX. Hoopa is insane in this deck, to be honest. I'm only playing 1 because you never want to play the second Hoopa, and even drawing into it is pretty bad. So I think we can get away with just 1. If we don't draw it, we can just go with Shaymins and all that. But yeah, if we grab an Hoopa, just because we can fill our bench with Deoxys and find the attackers and also find the Shaymin EX, is pretty insane. I think this is the most powerful Hoopa deck there is. So we're also playing 4 Battle Compressors, as I mentioned, and a pretty important card, not only because it discards supporters that we can bring back with a VS Seeker, but it also discards energy that we can accelerate with Thundurus. We have a couple of Colress Machine. Sometimes it's really nice because it also allows us to retreat from Deoxys, so instead of playing 4 Switch, I'm playing Colress Machine instead. So I'm kind of replacing Switch in here, but the thing with Colress Machine is that it's also really flexible in that sometimes we actually need to attack with a Deoxys or a Genesect and we don't have enough energy, so Colress Machine helps us with that. So I think it's worth it to play a split between 2 Switch and 2 Colress Machine. We're playing 1 Tool Scraper just because it's awesome if the opponent plays a Headringer on us, because we can remove it and then put the G-Booster in there. Of course, if we are item locked, we can't do that, but if we are item locked, I think just attacking with Genesect will most likely take out the opponent's Pokemon because it's definitely a Seismitoad. So there's that. We can also get back energy that our opponent discards from us really nicely with Thundurus EX if we can stream 2. So there's also that. I'm playing 4 Trainer's Mail, so I'm really maxing out on the card draw, on the best card draw there is. So we have 4 Trainer's Mail, 4 Ultra Ball, and of course 4 VS Seeker. That combines really nicely with the 4 Battle Compressors, so we have a really consistent deck. We have 1 AZ because it not only helps us draw more cards with Shaymin and Hoopa, it also allows us to retreat from one of our Pokemon and of course heal all the damage from it. Discarding energy, as you know, because we're bringing them back with Thundurus, is not that bad in this deck. We have 1 Colress, it's the best supporter for the deck, but I think we can run away with just 1. Our supporter line is really thin, and I could only play doubles of a single supporter, so I went with Sycamore instead because I think it's just more consistent all the time. If we get stuck, chances are that Colress doesn't do much, but the Sycamore always does much, and if we don't have the Colress because it's prized, it's not that big of a deal because we still have N and Sycamore. Speaking of N, we are playing 1, and as I mentioned, 2 Professor Sycamore. N is more for those, well, it's obviously really good in the early stages of the game, especially when we have stuff that we don't really want to discard, like other supporters like the Shadow Triad or even the G-Booster. But in the later stages of the game, it's disruption because you can shuffle stuff away. We are playing 1 Shadow Triad. This is also a very flexible card because it can grab us the G-Booster, can grab any of our attackers, it can grab the Colress Machine, and it can even grab energy with Plasma Energy. You'll notice the absence of Lysander, and the reason for that is that Genesect has red signal, which means that if we play Plasma Energy, we can just use Lysander on our opponent's Pokemon without having played the supporter. That has advantages and disadvantages. The obvious advantage is we can do it a lot of times, and the biggest disadvantage is that we kind of have to commit our energy drop for the turn, so we can't, for example, use Red Signal on this and then drop an energy on Thundurus to be able to attack, so we kind of have to do one of the two. Sometimes that's annoying, but most of the time it's just insane, so I'm quite happy with that. I mean, playing one Lysander wouldn't be bad, so I can definitely see that it allows us for extra catcher abilities, so that's really nice. It's one of the most important things, as you guys know, especially in such a high-powered format as Expanded is. And then we're playing 4 Skyfield. This is a really important card for this deck. We want to put a lot of stuff in the bench, especially early on, and then if the opponent later trumps our stadium, it doesn't matter too much. We will just discard around the Deoxys and the Genesect and just discard all the Shaymins and the Hoopas, and then later maybe we can even drop the second Skyfield and just go all insane and play the rest of our Pokemon. So I've been really happy with Skyfield. I think it's really important to have all 4, but of course you guys can change as you will. So we have 1 G-Booster in here. It's our ace pack of choice. It's really good. It's everything that we need. It just takes knocks out, discards energy, but we can bring them back with Thundurus once again. And then we have 3 Muscle Band to put on the Thundurus. Of course we can also go with Genesect EX, but it's less good, mostly because with the 4 Deoxys into play and the Muscle Band, still the Megalo Cannon doesn't deal 180. Of course, if we previously used Megalo Cannon and hit 20 on the bench, we can actually reach those values with just a Muscle Band. But if we don't, we're just hitting for 160 at most, so what we really want on the Genesect is just G-Booster. Of course, we can also put it down and then remove it later with a Tool Scrapper if we have that. So it's never a bad play to play Muscle Band on your attackers. And as far as energy goes, we are playing the 4 Plasma Energy that allows us to just make our opponent choose the opponent's Pokemon with the red single ability, and then we have the 8 energy that basically work for every type. So it's the Prism energy that work for basic type Pokemon, which all of our Pokemon are, and then the Rainbow energy, which take 10 damage from our Pokemon, but that's really not that important. Plus we can always discard this thing and bring it back with Thundurus, which is, I think, pretty good because it doesn't deal the damage to our Genesect, because it's brought back from the discard pile. That's the deck. I think it's a pretty cool deck, and I was a huge fan of Plasma type Pokemon, and this deck actually makes me want to I sold all my Plasma cards, so I kind of want to rebuy them again and build this deck. Although, to be fair, it's not like we play a lot of expanded tournaments in Portugal, but yeah, I kind of miss the old Plasma decks, so I'm kind of loving to play this deck for those reasons. Just playing Hoopas and Shaymins in such a high-powered Plasma strategy seems really nice. Let's take this baby for a spin, and I guess I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, we are ready for our match, and we're playing against a Dark, Colorless, Psychic, and Lightning type deck with a Metagross coin, so I don't really know what to expect here. I guess we are going first. It's always better to go first. We can attack on the first turn, but yeah, sometimes this happens. And this deck, as I mentioned, it actually starts with Deoxys a lot because it's a Pokemon that we have the most copies of. So we're bound to start with it a lot of times. We do have the Colress Machine, so it means that we can actually retreat from this guy pretty quickly if we only draw something nice out of this Trainer's Mail. Okay, we have another Pokemon, and now we draw it. I'd love to start with the Thundurus, but unfortunately you couldn't. So my opponent seems to be playing what? We don't get any card. Oh, okay, so that's unlikely, but sometimes it does happen. My opponent seems to be playing a Plasma deck with Plasma Absol, so that's what the Darkness was for. I still think I play this thing here, yeah. Because next turn, I wouldn't be able to attack this turn, and next turn I can just go Colress Machine and play the Rainbow Energy on my active and attack if I need to, but Deoxys EX attacks so badly into the Thundurus that it sucks, because Thundurus is great for attacking with a single energy, so it means that we are going to deal 80 or with a Muscle Band, or 60 without a Muscle Band, so that's not a lot of damage. Deoxys is a very bad attacker here, but if my opponent plays his own Deoxys, which he does, maybe we can snipe one off with one of our own. We never know. Let's see what happens. Okay, so my opponent is playing Lugia. Yeah, so this is a Plasma Lugia deck with Thundurus and Absol. So I guess my opponent is not playing Genesect like we are, because usually Plasma decks go for one of the two. You don't see Lugia and Genesect at the same time a lot. They basically do the pretty similar things in that they are there for the huge knockouts. Genesect is more about the damage swing and taking the energy off the field, I think, by taking huge knockouts. And Muscle Band, no card draw, huh? Yeah, I think I'll play the Colress Machine, because we might as well take a turn. We're not doing anything else, so I'd rather just deal 60 damage here, and this is not good. We really need to draw a supporter, but as I was saying, Lugia is more about drawing prizes quickly, but it doesn't deal the damage that the Genesect does, and Genesect is more about just getting to the board position where the opponent can't really do anything, despite we not taking all the prizes. So my opponent plays another energy. I think those are both Plasma Energy, yeah. So it means he has 3 Plasma Energy in play, so that kind of invalidates his... So it means Lugia is not going to attack this turn for sure, because he played the Plasma Energy from his hand, which means he cannot play the DCE this turn. And he might have 2 Colress Machine left, but he only has 1 Plasma left. So, okay, we got hit, and this Deoxys is about to die. But we do the Colress, that's pretty cool. So I'll just play as many cards as I can. So there's the Muscle Band, and there's the Stadium, and now I'll play the Colress for 6, which is actually pretty good. And we drew the Shaymin, that's awesome. And an Ultra Ball, which I'll definitely play. I'll discard the end because I don't think I need it. And an energy. I'm going to have a lot of energy in the discard pile this turn, because I'm going to retreat. We got the Hoopa, and I'll play it. Let's grab... Yeah, I want to grab Pokemon. Yeah, Deoxys and Genesect, and I go for the another Deoxys, or actually maybe I just draw the Shaymin. Yeah, it's just another way to draw extra Deoxys if the first Shaymin fumbles, but it's not something that's very or highly probable. I think I actually play this Plasma Energy on the Genesect, because I can red signal this Lugia into the active position, and it's actually highly likely. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if I draw a couple of Deoxys and I get some Muscle Band, I just take a knockout, because it's 90 damage, so that's pretty good. I get this Ultra Ball so we can grab the Deoxys, and then we can Shaymin. We are drawing 4 cards, which is not a lot, but if we manage to draw the Deoxys and the Muscle Band, we are set to go and kill that Lugia, which is pretty insane. Okay, we got them both, that's awesome. So let's just put this guy down, and... Oh, we already have the Muscle Band. What the hell am I saying? I was being really silly there. Didn't even need the Muscle Band, because I already had one on the Thundurus. I kind of forgot about that. So yeah, 180 damage. This was a pretty insane turn. And we still get to charge up our Genesect up to 2 energy, so this is just an insane turn. I guess my opponent's Absol is probably going to take a knockout here, because his Mind Jack is going to hit us for 1,000,000 damage. But on the bright side, my opponent will spend his energy drop this turn, and we will kill that Absol with our Genesect next turn, unless my opponent ends here, which would be like the worst thing ever. We are... Actually, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. We still have a lot of resources left, but I don't know. I'd rather not get end, of course. Okay, there's a Juniper. That's awesome. This guy has 110 damage, which is kind of annoying, but I guess with Deoxys we can actually kill it with Genesect without needing the G-Booster. There's the Colress Machine. I guess my opponent is going for the last Plasma Energy that he has in his deck. One of them is in play on the Absol, and the other 2 are in the discard pile, because I killed that Lugia in a single hit. right here I'll definitely go with Genesect. I guess it's good that my opponent, for my opponent of course, that he attacked with a non-EX Pokemon, because he's forcing us to take, okay, we drew the Plasma, which is better because we don't take damage this way. I don't need to put the Muscle Band there, but I will play this Battle Compressor, and let's see what we have here. We could go for the Shadow Triad, because I like to have it in hand. We could also go for the G-Booster this turn and just grab it with the Via Seeker, but I don't really need it, so I'd rather keep it in my deck, make sure that we don't discard it, or it doesn't get discarded from the Starling Megaphone or something. Let's see. My opponent would go down to 4 cards, but I think I'd rather just draw a million cards here, and likely not need to play another supporter this game, or supporter that draws cards. That would be pretty good, but my opponent can always end us. Okay, so we got the Ultra Ball for the Thundurus. I'll discard, I guess, both Battle Compressors. Don't really need them at this point, and I'll just grab a Thundurus and put it down, because if my opponent kills the Genesect, I want to promote something, and this guy is perfect for that job. And now I think the Colorless Machine does nothing here, so I'll just Megalo Cannon and I'll hit this guy, I guess. Maybe I should have gone for the other Thundurus. I don't really know. I guess at this point my own Thundurus can kill his Thundurus with the energy, so I guess that's bad. That's good, or bad for my opponent. Yeah, my opponent's kind of forcing us to take the 7th prize, but with an Absol. But at the same time, I think this is more about the energy swing, because it doesn't really have more acceleration, my opponent. Oh, he plays a basic energy, so he's actually going to bring 1 energy back, which is good for him. But I don't really know what my play is going to be, so let's think. Yeah, playing the Muscle Band on Genesect is not great, because it only hits for 160 at most, so... Oh, my opponent Lysanders for the Shaymin? Isn't it better to just kill the Deoxys? It's 10 less damage that he's taking. I mean... I don't know. I think I would have gone for the Deoxys. I don't know. Maybe my opponent is playing to Lysanders again later, but doesn't seem like the best thing ever. So, yeah, let's see. So, my opponent is down to 2 prizes, so I kind of need to play the end this turn. Yeah, that's my plan. So I think I'll play this Plasma, and I'll bring his Thundurus to the active, because I'll knock it out with the Genesect and all the Deoxys, and yeah, I'll play the Via Seeker for the N. And I'd rather keep the Trainer's Mill in there, because yeah, I'll play the I don't really even know if I play this thing. Yeah, I think I'll just end. The Trainer's Mill is good because it's something that we might draw, because we're only drawing 3 cards. Oh, we actually drew a Sycamore. That's perfect. So my thinking is I kill this guy this turn, and then next turn I might take another knockout, because I'll put the 20 damage where I think I'll go for this Thundurus, because the Lugia can actually get knocked out from our Thundurus. So if our opponent promotes that, we can actually get it. Yeah, so this turn I think my play is just go for the G booster and win. Hopefully that is enough. As I was saying while I kept being interrupted, putting a Muscle Band on the Genesect is not the greatest thing, because we cap at 160 that way. If we manage to use Megalo Cannon first and deal 20 damage, that could work, but I'd rather just go for the G booster. And yeah, maybe I should have discarded the G booster, or maybe I should have kept the Battle Compressors in my hand, because I could discard the G booster and bring it back, but I would need a Via Seeker at this point, and I already play them, and that one for the end was really crucial, because I think otherwise my opponent would kill us for sure, and this way I think he's in big trouble, because kinda needs to draw cards, and he kinda needs to play a Lysander, which I don't think he can. Yeah, 160 on the Genesect. That's unfortunate for my opponent, but I kind of was expecting that, I guess. So I'll play this thing here, and now I will retreat into my Thundurus and just take very, very relaxed knockout on that Lugia EX using the weakness once again. This is exactly the same thing that we did before. I don't know if my opponent was seeing it or not, or maybe he was crossing his fingers and hoping we didn't see it, but yeah, pretty cool match against a similar deck, I guess, but maybe ours was better because we had more items. I don't know. I don't really know. Maybe our opponent just had a bad start. But yeah, just bringing energy on our Genesect. I think Genesect is better here than the Lugia is. It doesn't take as many prizes, but as I said, we just don't care about that. We just take knockouts and get rid of our opponent's energies, and we will be on the aggressor side and not on the defensive side. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this deck. I have a lot of fun playing it because it's basically a plasma deck. Tell me what you think about it, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!